Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another bar by bar analysis here on my channel. Today is March 23rd, 2022, and let's just jump into it. We draw a level of resistance at the top for overnight highs and a level of support here for overnight lows. We have a downtrend working with prices continuously holding below EMA. Market opens, new low, first entry short, prices come back up, continuing to hold EMA, second entry short. You still have room to overnight lows. That's a trade worth taking. People would have been in this trade. Your stop goes one tick above this signal bar before prices reverse back to overnight lows and you get that scalp. Now, that being said, with prices working to overnight lows, we have to be very careful about trading shorts at this point. We should be sitting on our hands now that prices are starting to find an area of support here. Now that they're battling this area of support down here, we have to be very cautious about taking any shorts. That being said, you can kind of see prices are ranging up and down, but prices are continuing to hold below EMA. So what is that telling us? That we are in a downtrend. Where is that downtrend located? This is where we start thinking and drawing potential channels that hug prices neatly as they continue down. New low, first entry short, prices come back up to the top. Terrible signal bar to go short on. With the first entry short, second entry short into the lows, I would be curious to take a lower high if it manages to set up though. Prices come back up to EMA, but they're not, the body of the candle isn't quite touching that EMA. New low, first entry short. We also have a new high, first entry long, second entry long. Close above EMA, not interested in going short here above the EMA. People would have been in this trade and it would have scalped out. It's a little bit too aggressive for me because of the close above EMA and because we're already at a support level. As prices continue, we find a level of support with consolidation of prices start to take place below these overnight lows before prices potentially reverse above the EMA. We have a new low, first entry short, second entry short does not trigger. I would have been interested in potentially going long depending on the setup. We did have a break of this channel that we had drawn in, break, move to a new low, finding consolidation before prices most likely going to be pushing above EMA back into overnight highs and lows, back into this range that we have for the day. And that's exactly what happens as prices start to push up. We try and find a trend line with prices that hold neatly. Second entry short up here at the overnight lows, but not interested in using this as a new resistance level. I'd like to see prices play out just a little bit more. Now, if people didn't treat this one as a break, this is definitely a break of this trend line moving down. People probably saw that swing, adjust the channel just a little bit. They didn't consider that a break. This is a clear break, move to a new low. Downtrend hypothetically should have played out. So at this point, we're looking for long opportunities. The new high, first entry long, prices coming up, second entry long, but prices continue to push up above EMA. Not interested in going long above EMA at this time. We are finding a level of support down here at the bottom. As prices continue to push up above EMA, we can draw our short-term trend working up with this new low. First entry short, second entry short failure, but not interested in going long just yet. I would be interested in seeing a higher low take place or some kind of bullish signal bar showing us that we're going to be pushing back up into the range. This is a higher low, bullish bar that I'm talking about. I would take this trade with our break of the short-term trend looking for a new high. People would have been in that trade before it scalps out. And if you're lucky enough, you might be able to get a runner depending on how you enter this signal bar. As prices continue to work up and we get more data, we draw in our potential trend lines with prices holding neatly, coming up to the top, back to the bottom, up to the top, working our way back to the bottom. New high, first entry long, second entry long, but not interested in going long this far away from EMA. At this point, we have new high, first entry long, second entry long that triggers, and a potential failure. But we're closing above EMA, not interested in going short, especially because we could be dealing with a reversal pattern here. So not interested in going short yet. Now, once I see this signal bar, we had that first entry long, second entry long failure. Prices failed to push down below EMA. This is a higher low. We had a break of this channel looking for a new high. This is a trade that I'd go long on. People would have entered this trade, scalped out at least before prices reverse. We had a break, attempt at a new high. I would be interested in going short if opportunities presented itself. The new high, first entry long, We also have a new low, first entry short, second entry short, but the close happens above the EMA. So new high, first entry long all the way up, no trigger for a failed second entry short to go long. Second entry short triggers on this bar, prices come back down to EMA with a new high, first entry long, second entry long above this bearish bar, but I'm not a fan of this signal bar. I needed some sort of bullish confirmation before we go long. Depending on how this bar, whether it opened to the top side first or opened to the bottom side first, I'm not sure because I wasn't trading live at this time. But based on what we see here, we have a downtrend at play with a break and new low with an outside bar, reversal potentially, new high, first entry long, second entry long. I'm going to go long here, especially because we're in an uptrend coming off a reversal play. This is an area I'm going to go long. Next bar would have formed. Okay, so I would be in this trade. Next bar prints, and I would have been stopped out. The only thing I could see, I think the only way I could have stayed out of this trade if I recognized once we had a break, we were anticipating for prices to push strongly above EMA. We're also coming down, this 200 EMA is coming down. When I notice price actions start to consolidate a bit, we have a bit of a range. We have a bit of a range here. So when I look at it this way, if I had drawn this in, I would have probably stayed out of trying to go long at this level of resistance here at the top. Not to confuse anyone, I'm going to remove that, but I would have lost that trade. Prices reverse and push again strongly below EMA. Prices come back to overnight lows, new low, first entry short. Prices coming back up for a second entry short. The only reason why I would be hesitant about going short here is because we're having prices push below EMA, but they're finding a level of support here at overnight lows. We also had the short-term in trend with a break, new low. And even if you had a short-term trend down, we have a break and new low. I would be hesitant to enter here. As good of a signal bar that is, something is telling me that I don't want to short into these overnight lows. I would be interested in taking a lower high though. If prices can continue to prove that they're going to continue to push lower below these overnight lows, I would be interested in taking a short. For those that did enter, prices come back up. Your stop would have gone one tick above the signal bar, so you would have stayed in this trade. Prices come back down. At this point, the bars are kind of starting to flatten out with the EMA. You could potentially skunk this trade before prices come back up and eventually would have stopped people out. The other thing that I'm starting to notice as we get more of this data is we can't ignore the potential uptrend that we have in play here, especially after we had this break and new low or attempt at a new low. This could almost be considered the double bottom. That would have been a first entry short. Prices come back up and down for a failed second entry short reversal coming off these overnight lows. Bit of an aggressive trade because of how flat the bars are, but potentially people could get into this trade before it takes off. Prices working up in a short-term trend before they break. New high, first entry long, second entry long, looking for a new high. Again, coming off the lows here, I would be interested in going long here. Additionally, people could argue we had a failed breakout, pulling back up into the range off this level of resistance, coming back down, first entry short, first entry long, second entry long at the bottom of this trading range. That is a place you could go long. People would have been in this trade and it would have continued to go up and would have gotten that scalp for people. As prices continue on, we have a new low, first entry short with the support off this EMA. I guess some people could argue this is a higher low to take. The only issue I have is we have a level of resistance here at the top that we need to respect, and we have to be very careful about going long into this level of resistance. Now, as prices push up here, we get more data, we could potentially find a bigger uptrend in play, especially because this EMA is starting to hug the bottom of this channel. New high, short-term trend working down, break, attempt to find a new low, but again, got to be very careful about going long into this level of resistance. That's a little bit aggressive. I could see how this trade could be appealing to some people trying to go long, but I would stay out of it. This trade never triggered, so it's not something we necessarily have to worry about. We do have a new high first entry long. Prices come back down below EMA for a second entry long. Prices close at EMA. We could be looking at taking a failure. After seeing this bar, I would potentially consider going short only because we're in this trading range. We're at the coming off the top. We have a break of this short-term trend with a new low. First entry short would be aggressive. Some people would have gotten that scalp, but if you're looking for prices where they're going to go after this uptrend, tried making that new high, prices are pushing back down below EMA, working both to the bottom of this trading range and to the overnight lows. For those that aren't interested in taking a short here, we do have a new low. First entry short, prices push up, looking for some sort of trigger. Second entry short. Trigger of the second entry short happens below this bar. This bullish bar is showing bullish tendency. Prices are holding above the midsection of this trading range, looking to go long. Prices trading up out of this range, coming back down to the bottom of the range, finding a little bit of support before they push down. We draw in our short-term trend with a break, move down to a new low, first entry short, prices come back up above EMA, second entry short. I'm not necessarily interested in going short after we had this downtrend that played out. Additionally, I'm hesitant about shorting into the overnight lows with how far we've moved down already. As prices continue to print, we have EMA flattening out. We have a short-term trend up with a break and move to a new high. EMA is very flat. Short-term trend working down with a new low. First entry short, prices come back up. Second entry short, but not a good signal bar. Prices trigger for that second entry short. Prices continue to chop along. By this time, it's noon, and I definitely would have been done trading by this end of the day, and this is where I'll stop the analysis for today. As prices continue on, they push well below EMA and then chop sideways before finishing the day. And it's pretty clear. Once you get all this data, you can see this range. Very easy to see with EMA holding, prices pushing above, below, above, below, above, below the EMA. Overall, there look to be some really good trades today. At the same time, some could argue taking some of these aggressive trades. I am slightly bummed out that I wasn't able to trade today, but I'm excited that I'll be able to trade tomorrow. So look forward to making another video tomorrow. And I hope that you guys found this video beneficial. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, turn on your post notifications so you know exactly when I post these videos. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.